Part 1. Communicative Task Design. Introduction to Communicative Task Design. 1. Definition of Communicative Task Design. Communicative task design is a sort of language assessment that seeks to examine a learner's capacity to utilize language effectively and meaningfully in real-world settings. Unlike traditional language exams, which focus on separate components of language, e.g. grammar and vocabulary, communicative tests assess an individual's entire communication competence by stressing practical language abilities in real-world circumstances. This method assesses how well people can interpret and produce language in order to communicate their ideas, negotiate meaning, and participate in a variety of social settings. Propose on importance of communication testing in the language assessment. Real-world relevance. Communicative assessment imitate ordinary language use, allowing students to demonstrate their abilities to negotiate, express ideas, and give or follow directions. Holistic skills integration. Communicative assessments, frequently including listening, speaking, reading, and writing tasks, demonstrating how these abilities are naturally utilized together in everyday conversation. Emphasis on engagement. Communicative examinations frequently entail engagement with others, such as a role-playing or conversation, which better reflects the social dimension of language use. Motivation and engagement. By stressing authentic and meaningful communication, communicative testing engages students and makes the assessment process more relevant and compelling. Principle of communicative test design. 1. Focus on the real-life communication. Communicative tests are intended to reflect how language is utilized in real-world circumstances. These principles focus on providing tasks that require the task taker to utilize language in meaningful circumstances, such as making requests, giving directions, conversing, or responding to real-world scenarios. The purpose is to determine if learners can effectively communicate in the target language through their personal, educational, or professional lives. 2. Integration of language skills, such as listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Communicative assessment frequently combines different language abilities into a single assignment to mimic how language is utilized in authentic communication. In real life, language abilities are rarely employed in isolation. For example, hearing and speaking occur currently during the conversation, but reading and writing might be integrated when producing response to email or reports. A successful communicative test might require a learner to listen to a tape, react orally, read relate content, and write an answer. Communicative examination provide a more thorough evaluation of the learner's ability and utilize language in a practical ways since they examine numerous skills at once. This holistic method reflects the real-world conversation and aids in determining overall language proficiency. 3. Performance-based assessment. Communicative testing frequently includes performance-based assessment, in which students demonstrate their language skill through real-world tasks. Role-playing exercise, oral presentation, writing assignment, and problem-solving activities may all be included. Unlike standard tests, which may contain multiple choice or fill in the blank question. Assessment based on the performance challenge students to actively utilize the language in the context. Performance-based language assessment provides a more direct evaluation of the learner's communicative competence. Key components of a communicative text. 1. Task-based testing. Task-based testing assesses a learner's ability to do specific, meaningful tasks in the target language. Unlike a traditional examination which focuses entirely on grammar and vocabulary knowledge, Task-based assessment includes exercises that simulate real-life communication such as bargaining, recounting events, and problem solving. The exercises are intended to assess a wide variety of communicative abilities, frequently combining multiple language skills. 2. Use of rubrics and rating scales for performance assessment. Rubrics and rating systems are frequently used to ensure that communication performance is evaluated consistently and fairly. These techniques establish precise criteria for assessing communicative competency, including fluency, accuracy, coherence, appropriateness, and sociolinguistic abilities. Rubrics provide explicit descriptors for different levels of performance, assisting both evaluators and test takers in understanding what is expected. Designing a communicative task, steps, and consideration. 1. Task development. Task development is fundamental to communicative task design. This step entails developing challenges that simulate real-world communication circumstances. The task must be authentic, relevant, and meaningful to the task takers. Example tasks: A. Role-playing and simulations. Engaging students in actual dialogues that mimic real-world encounters such as complaining, giving directions, or doing interviews. B. Integrated abilities task. Combining reading, writing, listening, and speaking into a single assignment to demonstrate how these abilities are utilized together in the practice. 2. Selection of assessment criteria. Establishing clear and measurable assessment standard is critical for evaluating communicative performance objectively. Rubrics, rating systems, and well-stated description are frequently used to ensure consistency in the scoring. Important criteria for the communicative testing: fluency and coherence, the ability to speak or write easily and logistically. Grammatical accuracy, the proper use of grammar within a meaningful circumstance. Pragmatics and sociolinguistic competence, the appropriate use of language in relation to the context and purpose. Task completion, the text to which the learner meets the communicative task objectives. 3. Pilot testing and validation. Before complete deployment, tests should be piloted with the representative sample of students. Pilot testing assists in identifying potential difficulties with the task clarity, reliability, and the scoring system. Adjustment can be made depending on the comments to improve test validity and fairness. Key goal of a pilot testing: A. Reliability. Test outcomes are consistent across time and evaluators. B. Validity. Ensure that the exam measures that it proposed to assess. C. Fairness. Providing equal opportunity to all learners no matter their backgrounds. Benefits of a communicative test design. 1. Encourages real-world language use. Communicative testing helps learners develop language skills they can use in their daily lives to make language learning more practical and meaningful. 2. Enhances learners' engagement and motivation. Tests that reflect real-world scenarios are often perceived as more relevant and motivating by learners, leading to increased engagement. 3. Provide a comprehensive assessment of language ability. Communicative tests assess not only language accuracy but also fluency, pragmatics, and the ability to communicate effectively in the various situations. 4. Promotes holistic skill integration. Communicative tests often require the simultaneous use of multiple skills such as reading a text and responding orally, mirroring real-world language use. Practical tips for effective communicative test design. 1. Ensuring clear instruction and guidelines. 2. balancing complexity and accessibility. 3. Training test evaluator to ensure consistency. 4. Providing constructive feedback. Case study and real-life example of a communicative test. Case study: communicative language testing at the University of Cambridge. A. Overview: the University of Cambridge English Language Assessment, not part of Cambridge Assessment English, has incorporated communicative assessment aspect into the well-known exam like a Cambridge English First or CCE and the Cambridge English Advances or CAE. B. Communicative approach to testing. During this exam, candidates perform speaking tasks such as a paired interview in which two task takers are evaluated together. Tasks include talks, collaborative activities, and role-playing, and the candidates must demonstrate not only grammatical accuracy but also interactional competence, pragmatic ability, and fluency. C. Impact. The interactive aspect of this assignment has been complemented for their realism and ability to mimic real-life communication demands. Research shows that they have a favorable impact on inspiring language learners to enhance both fluency and the collaborative conventional abilities. Okay, so this is a part 2. I will give you a task. In this task, there is a sentence where each word is a blank. So you have to completely the text correctly and precisely to make a perfect task. So this is the text 1. The importance of sleeps. Two. This is the create a scoring guide from the text 1 is by me. A. Scoring criteria. Correct answer: 1 point for each correctly restored word. Partially correct answer: 0.5 point for words that are close but not fully accurate. Incorrect answer: 0 points for words that are incorrect or unrelated. B. Total score calculation. Each text contains around 80 to 100 words with approximately 20 to 25 words deleted. Maximum possibility score calculated based on the total numbers of deletion. For instance, if there are 25 deletions, the maximum score is 25 points. C. Proficiency levels. High proficiency, 80% or more correct answer, 20 to 25 points, indicates a strong command of vocabulary, grammar, and content comprehension. Intermediate proficiency is 50 to 79% correct answer, 13 to 19 points, demonstrate adequate understanding but with some gaps. Basic proficiency, below 50% correct answer, 20 points or fewer, suggest significant challenges in the vocabulary or grammar. So, this is the correct answer from the text 1. Sleep is essential for the body to repair itself and maintain overall health. Adults typically need 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night to function well. Lack of sleep can lead to problems such as poor concentration, weakened immunity, and mood swing. Establishing a bedtime routine, reducing screen time before bed, and creating a comfortable sleeping environment can improve sleep quality. Good sleep habits contribute to better physical and mental health. 3 is to provide a justification of a task 1. The reason why I choose the topic the importance of sleep because it is relevant and accessible to pupils, especially those wanting to enhance their language skills. Everyone experiences sleep, and addressing its benefits allow for the introduction of a practical vocabulary and concepts connected to health, well-being, and everyday routines. This topic is appropriate of my student language level since it is easily adaptable to different skills level, whether talking a basic vocabulary, e.g. fetting, rest, or more complicated ideas. The topic also encourages the use of simple and compound sentences, which aids in vocabulary expansions and the development of speaking and writing abilities. Advantages of using the C-test for assessing text 1. 1. Efficiency and reliability. The C-test is intended to be a very efficient and reliable method of assessing language proficiency with a minimal testing time. It entails completing partially removed words in the sentence, which demands test takers to swiftly apply linguistic and contextual knowledge. This is in contrast to open-ended writing, which might take time to complete and regularly judge. The C-test enables assessors to examine skills in the vocabulary, grammar, and contextual comprehension all at once, making it perfect for brief but comprehensive examination on them, such as a sleep. 2. Objective scoring. Unlike open-ended response, which can be subjective and influenced by the graded view, scoring a C-test often more objective. Multiple choice question (MCQs) can objective, but they can also encourage guessing, particularly if a test takers lack a true grasp. However, the C-test reduces guessing by demanding active language output, guaranteeing that test takers exhibit actual knowledge. 3. Integration of contextual knowledge. A C-test on the importance of sleep would include passages that require contextual knowledge of the subject. To successfully complete the sentence, test takers must comprehend the topic context, which encourages real engagement with content rather than simple recollection of words or facts, as is the case with MCQs or closed tests that lack context. 4. Balanced focus on the form and meaning. Unlike a closed test, they may access from over-understanding or open-ended writing, which may prioritize ideas of language accuracy. The C-test promotes balance. To correctly finish a passage, test taker must understand both the linguistic form and meaning. In the topic like sleep, this could entail employing both technical and colloquial language correctly and in the context, demonstrating a true understanding of a language in a practical use. 5. Quick and scalable. The C-test is easy to administer and scale, making it ideal for situations when time is an issue, such as a big classroom or frequent examination. Open-ended response demand more grinding time and are more difficult to scale, but multiple choice tests with scalable may not provide a comprehensive evaluation of effective enough language skills. The C-test is an excellent choice for a language learning environment that relies heavily on frequent feedback. So, this is the example of a text 2. Is the role of technology in educational. This is the C-test simulation. Okay. The creating a scoring guide for the text 2 is same like the text 1. Yeah, so this is the scoring guide. And this is the correct answer or the original text 1. The text 2. Technology has transformed the way students learn, and the teachers teach digital tools such as the tablets and interactive whiteboards enhance engagement in the classroom. online resources offer access to information beyond traditional textbook, enabling students to learn at their own pace. Teachers use technology to create engaging lessons and track students' progress. However, over-reliance on the technology can sometimes lead to distraction. Striking a balance between digital and traditional learning method is a key to a well-rounded education. 3. Provide the justification of a text 2. The reason why I choose the topic the role of technology in education because it is relevant and fascinating, particularly for intermediate English learners who are already familiar with the basic educational and technology principles. This topic is appropriate for an intermediate language level since it allows students to expand their vocabulary using terminology linked to educational and technology, such as digital tools, online learning, and interactive platforms. Furthermore, examining technology effect on education gives pupils the opportunity to practice using sophisticated sentence patterns while explaining process, contrasting traditional and new learning techniques, or expressing viewpoints. The topic promotes meaningful communication and helps students connect English language to a real-world context that they're familiar with, reinforcing practical vocabulary and language structures in an accessible yet demanding manner. Advantage of using the C-test for assessing text 2. 1. Efficient and practical. The C-test is intended to measure language proficiency quickly and effectively. In contrast to open-ended writing projects, which take a long time for the student to complete and teachers to score, the test is a spider option that nonetheless delivers useful insight into language competence. When measuring proficiency in the technology-related subject, its efficiency enables expensive and frequent testing without imposing substantial time constraints. 2. Objective and consistent scoring. C-test scoring is simple and often more objective than flexible writing, which can be subjective and time-consuming to assess. While MCQs are objective, they can at times lead to conjecture rather than genuine knowledge. The C-test requires students to make language rather than recognize it, lowering the possibility of guessing and increasing the accuracy of language assessment. 3. Balanced focus on form and meaning. The C-test encourages test takers to complete shortness words within a context, balancing their emphasis on language form, grammar, spelling, and meaning like a contextual knowledge. This is especially beneficial for evaluating proficiency in the specific themes such as the role of technology in educational, because it pushes students to understand technical jargon relating to education and the technologies while also employing suitable linguistic patterns. 4. Contextual understanding. A C-test passage on the technology in education can include lines that need specialized understanding of a context such as digital literacy, virtual classroom, or educational softwares. This context-based exam guarantees that students are actively engaged with the topic, as understanding the context is required to correctly complete the sentence. Unlike cloze tests, which frequently suffer from the contextual depth, the C-test integrates. 5. Use of productive skills. The C-test demands students to actively finish words which engage productive language skills in ways that MCQs and the cloze tests do not. Students demonstrate language proficiency by reconstructing words in the press regarding technologies and education, as opposite to merely recognition correct answer. These productive features improve language acquisition by rewarding the capacity to appropriately perceive and develop language within the topic context. 6. Scalability for digital and classroom settings. The C-test is appropriate for both traditional and digital learning environments, which makes it excellent for modern educational settings that rely heavily on the technology. It is simple to customize for the platform on the internet, where automated evaluates further reduce grading time, make it widely applicable for the language examination and the technology-rich educational situation. This adaptability is consistent with the increased reliance on technology in education.